Hello, all. Thank you for your coming here and attending the first course. For this video, we're going to start off something very light and easy. It will give you a basic overview of the majority of the tools used within Photoshop. And not only that, it's also a really fun project that you can go ahead and apply to your own personal project. Let's say you want to edit photos. This is the project for you, and let's get started. So for starters, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be designing a sports graphic, and pretty much this is used to promote athletes. It's a pretty cool way of like putting edits on an athlete. So this is more of an advanced version. But what we're trying to go for is something like this, where we have the player right here, possibly the logo, and 3 other images of the player. That's our goal, something like that. However, the goal is not to copy what they did here. Rather, the goal is to find a basketball player, basketball player, soccer player, whoever, and pretty much make a graphic of that. And then after that, I'll task you guys with submitting it sometime during this week, just before I post the next video next week. So for me, I'm gonna go for the GOAT, LeBron James. Obviously these photos here aren't as good, so what I'm gonna try and do is trying to find some hype-worthy moments. So LeBron and dunking are some of the greatest photos you can find on the internet. So the one I'm gonna go for is this one right here. Let's see the quality. First, you gotta let it load to make sure the quality's pretty good before you even go ahead with putting it on Photoshop. And now this one isn't loading, so I'm gonna have to pick a different one. So what I'm trying to look for is one that has its full body, because if we pick one like this, it will look a bit choppy, cutting out this basketball player right here and keeping LeBron James in. We'll just have a hole right there. It won't look natural in your graphic. So I guess I'm going to try to go for this one right here. This is my first one. So I'll come here, save it on my computer, and I'm going to title it LeBron James dunking. Like that. Next, I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna find a photo of him dribbling. So, what would be a good photo? Let's see. Personally, I like this one right here. I think this one's pretty solid, although the lighting could be a bit better. So, I want to see if there are any other optional photos I could use. I guess this one's pretty solid, but I don't think it'll look as good for my graphic for what I want to do. So I'm gonna go for this one right here. Him standing up, dribbling the ball, because my goal is to have him in front of the image of him dunking the ball. Once I put that together, I'll show you guys how it will look like. So LeBron James dribbling, like that. Okay, so next, I'm gonna try to find one more photo of him, and I just want to find him just hyped, like really hyped about this game. Something like this, That's the type of energy I want to put into this artwork. So I want to look for one with him in a Lakers jersey. I don't know if I will be able to find one, but if I have to settle with a Cavaliers one, then I guess that's not a problem. So based off of that, it does seem like I have to go for him in a Cavs jersey, which isn't a problem. It's just I want to keep a consistent theme. So the Lakers is purple and gold, or purple and yellow, however you take it. So I was just trying to keep a consistent theme. But anyways, LeBron, hype. Those are the 3 photos I'll be using for this. And now we're going to go ahead and open Photoshop. And now once you open Photoshop, the next step is to open a new document. And before I open a new document, I did a a course at the Orange Foundation with some kids over there, and we managed to design a graphic like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to, create a sports graphic like this, but even improve on the skills, because while it may look good from afar, there's still several flaws, like how his body is just cut right here, same on that side too. So I'm gonna try to get rid of all the imperfections and make it look like a really good sports graphic. So first off, I'm gonna open document. I'll open one right here. Next step is I'm gonna go to File, Open. This is how you import photos into your into Photoshop. And the first one I'm gonna edit is him dunking. So I'm gonna double click, and now I have the photo of him dunking. Now, if you go and look at the bottom right of my screen, you can see it's called background, and there's a lock right there. So pretty much what we want to do is we want to have this as a layer, because when it's a layer, we're able to edit it, and apply effects on it. So in order to do that, we have to get rid of this lock. And now all we have is the photo, and now we're able to move it around like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the photo. And in order to do that, rather than using the magnetic lasso tool, like I told you guys in the optional Photoshop tools video, we're going to use the quick selection tool. So we're going to right click, quick selection. Now we're going to make sure we're on our layer. We want to make sure we're at plus, because plus means add. We want to add selection, not subtract it. So I'm just going to click, make sure I'm selecting his body and only his body. And if I go into the background, I'm going to teach you how to remove certain parts of the background. So just try your best just to get his body. So as you can see, I've tried my best to get his body. Now I want to go to minus. And now to make sure I don't cut into what I want to keep in the image, I'm going to decrease the size of my circle. So I'm going to come here to this big circle, click on it, and let's drop this down to 30 for size. Now you can see it's much smaller. Now I'm going to drag my mouse, just click, try my best to get rid of this background, all around the shoe, I'll try to make it as perfect as possible. And whatever background remains, what I'll do is I'll use the magnetic lasso tool to get rid of to keep those to get those perfect details, So I'm just going to keep on doing that all over the image, like so. If you have any questions about this, you guys can message me, and we can schedule a phone call, or an online Zoom class, whatever you like. I'm willing to help. So as you can see here, I've made a fairly good outline on his foot. Now I need to make sure I get his actual image of LeBron. So now I've come up to the head. I'm now chopping away, making sure I get rid of the background like that. Because really what I want is just the player. I just want LeBron on the background. Our focus is on the GOAT. So now that I've done that, I'm going to come here to my move tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy. So Control C. And once I've done that, I'm going to come to the bottom right corner, and I'm going to come down here to create a new layer. And that is next to the trash can right there. So it's the one, it's the square with the plus inside. I'm going to click on that, and now I have a new layer. And now I'm going to hit Control V, and now pasted it. Now the next step is to get rid of this background, not to permanently get rid of it, but to temporarily get rid of it. So if I don't want to see a specific layer, the cool thing is I can click on this eye right here, and boom, now I don't see it, but now I see it. So I'm gonna temporarily get rid of it, and now I'm gonna try my best to perfect the tracing. So I'm gonna go to the lasso tool to get rid of these rough edges on the background as well. So I'm gonna go around the whole image to try my best to affect the tracing. Personally, I think it looks pretty good as of now. So now we have LeBron James in the air like that. So now the next step is I'm gonna put in like a temporary white background. So I'm gonna create a new layer. Now if you guys look at the bottom right hand of my screen, you'll see layer 2 is over layer 1. And now if I'm to put in the background, if you guys can watch carefully, if I put in the background, it's over our player, and we don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here and get this layer, and I'm gonna drag it below layer 1. So now we have layer 1 on top, like so. Now next step is I'm gonna adjust the size of the rectangle. So to do that, click on the rectangle layer, and click on the rectangle and go to edit, transform. Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to edit, transform. It's not letting me do it for some odd reason. It's not directly editable. That's odd, but usually if you want to adjust the size, you have to edit and transform. But for some odd reason, it's not allowing me, so I think I'll deal with that later. But for now, I'm gonna change the color of the background to white. So I'll come here to my bottom left-hand screen. You'll see 2 squares, the one top of the square on top of the other. I'm gonna change the foreground color, which is the background. I'm gonna put this to white. And now that I have white there set, I'm gonna come here to fill in my property section. And if you guys don't have this, what you'll have to do is you'll have to go to the top to window, and you're gonna have to click on properties, and then you'll bring it here on your right hand side. So you're gonna come here, click fill, and then just like that, you have your LeBron James right there. And now the next step is to trace your other images. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing, file, open, and now I'm gonna put in the other image of LeBron. I'm gonna get in the one of him dribbling. So I'm gonna zoom in, use the quick selection tool, right click, quick selection tool, make sure I'm on plus, which means add. And now I'm just gonna select LeBron James, not the background. You know, try my level best to do so. Make sure it's just LeBron. So now that I've done that, as mentioned before, I'm gonna reduce the size so I don't get into my LeBron. And now I'm going to try my level best to get rid of any imperfections in the background. So as you can see here, trying my best, making sure I don't cut into the player, but rather I'm sticking onto the background and only solely the background. So now I come here, I'm tracing it LeBron, like that, and let's get it right there. And then lastly, okay, so now I've fully traced him. And now the next step is I'm going to copy, go to our first project, and I'm going to paste him right here. And it appears I missed some of his legs, so I'm going to have to go back there and make sure I trace his leg, you know. So it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna come to plus, trace his foot. So I trace it, trace. And now I've traced his foot. So Control C, come to the main image, and bam, we have our LeBron. But it appears I missed part of his foot right there. So I'm gonna look for any imperfections, and I'm gonna go ahead and correct. Okay, so it appears now that I got it. So next, lasso tool, to remove any parts of the background. So I'm gonna get rid of that. And now the lasso tool is not really suited to remove parts of the background right here. So I'm gonna have to switch to the magnetic lasso tool. And I'm just gonna drag, let the system and the tool decide what is the background and what I'm trying to remove. As you can see, it's doing a pretty good job of it, making sure I'm sticking to the player's skin. And now I removed the background right there. So now I have my two players, but obviously LeBron, this one is looking too big in my eyes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjust the size of this LeBron right here. So I'm gonna make sure I'm on this one right here. Click on it, edit, transform, scale. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make him a bit wider. So without holding shift, I'm just gonna increase this size like that. And then next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the background. And I wanna make this just a tad bit smaller. So scale. And then I'm gonna go down and decrease the size just a little bit. That's just my personal opinion, how I want the piece to go. So now I have that right there. And now the next step is this side a little bit. Maybe I decrease the size just a little bit, you know. Just a little bit. Okay, so now I have LeBron there like that. Now the next step is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my last image, complete the same process that I did for the other two images. So this one's LeBron hype. And now thank God, because this is an image that has really good quality. You know, the other two didn't have as good quality. So when you're picking out images, make sure you look for images that have good quality. So what I'm gonna do is, like I said earlier, change the size of my brush because this is a pretty big image. And I'm gonna chase LeBron and only LeBron. Make sure I got the shirt and the text. And then I'm gonna get rid of the background. So I'm gonna zoom in. Make sure I'm only getting rid of the background. And now I've got LeBron almost done. Just make sure I get rid of any imperfections. And now I've got rid of LeBron. I'm gonna copy, paste. Now we got my LeBron right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here to edit, transform, scale, adjust the size. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the order of the layers. I want this to be in the very background. And I'm going to decrease the size of LeBron. So decrease like that. And now I'm going to shift the players around a little bit. You know, I want to give each image, I want to make sure each image has some sort of emphasis, you know, that you're able to see each and every image. So then I'm going to go with a layout with something like that. Now, what I want to do is I want to have the very back image of LeBron getting hype. I want that to be black and white. So I'm going to copy, create a new layer, and now I'm going to paste, and I'm going to mirror them on top like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply an effect, you know, to add emphasis to the image. So what I'm going to use is, if the effect I want to use is not here, usually I use hue and saturation. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to copy, paste, and in some cases you can just go ahead and change the color like that, but it's not advised. So what you will have to do is you will have to go back to the original image of where he's traced here, and you're going to have to create a new layer, put a square on top like that. This is what I do, and I'm just going to copy this traced area on the square like that. And next, I'm going to put it on top of the square. And then on the square layer, I'm going to come here and trace again. Trace my LeBron again. like so. Get rid of the background. Next, I'm gonna copy off the background. And now I have LeBron, and only LeBron, the GOAT. So now I'm gonna come here to the main image, paste LeBron. I can see the sizes are a bit different, so I'm gonna scale them to mirror them in the same sort of size, like so. And now what I'm gonna do is I want to change the color to black. So I'm gonna go to my move tool, colors, pick my foreground, make it black. And then next I'm gonna go to properties, and if I'm not mistaken, come here. Oops, wrong key. If I'm mistaken, where's the tool? That's odd. Having trouble finding it. So on the original image, I'm just gonna come here, and I'm just gonna change the color of the selected image. So I'm gonna go back a bit to trace LeBron. I'm gonna change the rectangle to black. That's the color I want. I'm gonna copy, and now I have it here. And then I'm gonna come here, put it in, just copy, paste. That's odd. Paste. Yeah. I'm gonna have to restart that real quick. My fault, guys. But yeah. Come here, retrace LeBron. Get his whole face in. After that, get rid of the background while also keeping his body in. Copy. Now on this layer. Oh, that's odd. Oh well, I guess I'll just keep it orange, because at the end of the day I'm going to still be applying an effect. So the color won't really matter. So I'm going to come here, mirror the LeBron on top of the image. Once I do that, I'm going to apply an effect. And now for your piece, you don't have to do exactly what I did, but you can pick the effect that you would most prefer. So you have all these options right here, but out of all of these, the one I think I'm going to go for is this one right here. Just the way certain parts of the color just are stamped onto the image. I just think that's pretty cool, and that's just something I'd like to have in my own piece, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to put that there, and next I'm going to come here and I want to edit all the photos because I feel like they're too, for instance, there's not enough emphasis and lighting on the images. So what I want to do is I'm going to come down here to the bottom right hand of my screen, and you'll see a circle, where one half is black, the half is white. I'm going to click on that, and I want to go to hue and saturation. So now that I'm here, I'm able to adjust the light of all the images, as well as the saturation of all the background images. So what I want to do is, I have the option to do that, to apply that to all the images. And if I want to do that, I'm going to simply move the layer upwards, and now it's applicable on every single layer. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust it. So since the theme of this is yellow, mainly yellow, orange, I'm going to look for a color that best suits that. So something around here. I'm going to try to adjust the saturation just a little bit. Like that. And now I've gone ahead and applied an effect on my character. And now the cool thing that I like to do to add to my work whenever I'm creating graphics like these is that I like to duplicate images and apply effects on those images. So you come here to the first one, I duplicated it 3 times and I applied an effect, and now it looks like he's moving really slow. And then combined with the effect I applied on his eyes, it just gives off this cool look to the image. So if I want to do that, let's say to this image right here, I want to copy, create a new layer, paste it. Now I'm going to shift it slightly to the side of LeBron of the first image. And now I'm going to apply an effect. So you can pick which one you want. Like I said, this is your piece. I just want to see if you guys took the necessary steps to make it look like this. And the one I'm probably going to pick is either pen light or soft light. Honestly, up to you. It depends on which effects you want, or even lighting. So, like I said, it's up to you. Pick which one you want. I'm feeling lighting. So, I get that one, and I've applied it on my image right here, as you can see. And now, the next step is what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the visibility of this one. And in order to do that, I'm going to come here to opacity on my screen, and I'm going to type in 80%. I want to do the same thing again, copy, paste, same image, like that, but change the opacity to this one to 60%. Now it looks really blurry. However, it's not as blurry, it's not as visible because the background is white. So I'm going to change the color of the background to the main theme, which is yellow, purple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to the eyedropper tool, and I want to select this yellow right here. Now that I've selected that yellow, or actually let's go for this yellow right here. Why not? This one right there. So now that I've done that, I'm going to come here to appearance, click on that yellow, and now we have that right here. Now let's say I want to apply a different effect. What I could do is I could just go ahead and pick luminosity, for example, and then I get this cool duplication effect on LeBron. So there's that. And I could apply it like that, could apply it like that. Choice is honestly up to you. But for me personally, I think I'm gonna stick with like two maximum. So I'm gonna delete, I'm gonna get rid of one of them. So now that I have that right there, next step is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this LeBron right here, copy paste, and now I'm gonna have it like ordered, something like that. I'm gonna try to give it the same blurry effect that I gave the first one, make the opacity 80%, and then change the effect to whatever one that you like on the image. It could be this one right here, divide. You know, I just want you guys to mess around and find what looks appealing to you as an artist. You know, something may look appealing in your eyes, may not look appealing in my eyes. Choice up to you completely. So let's say I go with this one, combined with the effect that I put on the first one, I get something like this. You know, I could just bring LeBron out there a bit more, and bam, I got a cool effect like that. So, you know, honestly, choice is up to you. However you like to style it, it's not my choice really. But there's that. The next step, I want to duplicate this one right here. So you could just say this class, the main lesson of this class really is just the duplicate method, as well as applying effects on specific images. So I'm gonna go ahead with that, but I also want to find a place for it to fit. I don't want to just duplicate it like that, but I think I may just be better off with just having the image by itself. I don't think I'd be better within the duplicated image of LeBron. So now that I've got in here, What you could do is like just choose to apply for this LeBron, just mess around, see what you like and what you want to implement in your piece. You could go for like a retro look, and if you don't know what that is, it's like something like this, the quality like this. So, and them being the 80s look, so a pretty highly saturated image like that. You can go with that. You can go for that using an effect located here, or you can just pick whatever you'd like. It's up to you really. This class and lessons only to like mess around, see what effect does what tool does what, and that's why I gave you guys just a cool little front project before we get into like the real thing, the real deal. So let's say I want this one right here, and I want to position it like that. Yeah, like that. Now, already off the bat, this is looking pretty good. So now the final step is to add text. Actually, the 2 more steps. The final step is to add text and then the logo of the team. So to add text, you're gonna come here to the horizontal type tool. I'm gonna click on the screen, and then off the bat, it's gonna give you text in the box. It's gonna come here and delete it, and you're gonna type in. I'm gonna type in King James because that's his name. Before I do that though, I have to make sure I have a color that is not the background. So now that I don't have that, I'm gonna type in King in capital letters, King James, like that, bam. So obviously the font does not suit the image of my work at all. So what I'm gonna do is highlight and select everything in the text box. I'm gonna come here to character. If you don't see character, go to window and then click on character, and then you'll see it on your screen. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna select a font that I think will look pretty good for the type of work that I am trying to portray. So LeBron James is a king. I mean, that's his nickname, King James. So I want to try and go for something that looks not necessarily modern, but rather old-fashioned, So I'm gonna go for something like that, King James. So I'm gonna highlight all of that. And now, what I'm gonna do is the next step is I'm gonna have this text be purple, because I'm gonna be purple and white because that's the theme of our work right here. So I'm gonna come here, select it, make this here white, or actually rather purple because it's better off if you, personally I think it's better if we start with purple and have white on top, but honestly up to you. So to each their own. So pretty much what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come to the eyedropper tool, go to the image, select the purple on the shirt. Now that I have that, I'm gonna come here, highlight the text, come here to color, okay. Now I have the color that's on his shirt. I'm gonna come here, copy again, put it on top of it, but move it just slightly to the right, make this white. And bam, I have that. But now we're not done though. We need to change the opacity of this to at least 60, 40, 60 around there. Depends on what you want, what you're looking for. And now that you've done that, I'm gonna angle it slightly in the corner, slightly downwards like that. And just stop looking at it, I think it's better. I'll add this as gold instead. So, like that, so you can highlight the text. Have that as gold, but the issue is not splitting in the background, so I may just have to make this the gold right here, so like that. Nah, we're just better off like that. So I'm gonna have it like that. Next, with the James, I'm gonna make this what color should I make this? Let's see. I'm going to make this purple first. That it's a really strong purple. In fact, I may change that purple to this one here. Copy again. And I'm going to make this white. Like that. I'm going to do the same right here. To the first one. So, select it, iDriver tool, bam. Select it again, or color. Now it's that color. Now, last step is to change the opacity for cool 60. 60 may be too low, so like an 80, who knows? I want to make mine 80. You guys make it whatever you like it to be. And bam, got our image of this. It would be a bit better if we could have this as a yellow, but since it's not yellow, and it kind of ruins the thing, I think I'm just gonna remove it. And I'm gonna cap my piece of work like that. Now the last step is, like I said, is gonna come here, set the Lakers, and I'm gonna get the Lakers background like that. And now the cool thing about this image right here, it's a PNG, which means when I download it, it comes without the background. So I don't even have to worry about tracing it. So file, open, bam, PNG. Don't have to worry about the background. Paste it. And now once I've pasted it, the final step is I'm just gonna put this in the very background of the image. And now that I've done that, the next step is I'm going to keep it, let's say, right there in the corner of the image. So transform, scale. Gonna keep it right there. And now to keep the colors consistent, which is what we want, I'm going to make the background that shade of yellow. So what you will notice with me is that like not everything is really set in stone, but rather it's like a work in progress. And like, that's just how I feel like any work on like Photoshop should go about. So bam, look at that graphic. King James, you know, that is one impressive graphic, you know. Now this is your task. Guys, best of luck on this course. You know, I'm excited to teach you guys. In the next couple of weeks, I expect the videos to be shorter, as I'll be working on like editing the clips, so you guys don't have to like sit through the entire lecture and lesson. And yeah, I'm really excited for what we can do and what you guys can do and show on later in the course. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you guys next week. Message me, contact me for any questions, and yeah, enjoy.